What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Hybrid Network and yet another look into the world of Blade Runner. Kind of. Well, you see, today's a little different because I kind of wanted to take the time to compare the world of Blade Runner, a world loosely based on Philip K. Dick's Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, and compare it to another sci-fi legend's work, Isaac Asimov. For those of you that don't know, he was a prominent science fiction writer from the 1940s and 1960s, dreaming up incredible worlds placed solely in the realm of hard science fiction, considered one of the big three along with Robert A. Heinlein and Arthur C. Clarke. What he's probably most well known for is coming up with the 3 laws of robotics, first introduced in his short story Runaround, which listed the 3 basic laws that a robot must abide by. They are listed as 1. A robot may not injure a human being or, through inaction, allow a human being to come to harm. 2. A robot must obey the orders given to it by human beings, except where such orders would conflict with the first law. 3. A robot must protect its own existence as long as such protection does not conflict with the first or second laws. Now, over the years, these laws were changed slightly and even had additions made to the list, but these were the basic principles that all robots had to abide by within the scope of Asimov's novels and world. Usually, Asimov's stories within the Robot series tended to follow the ambiguity behind these laws, as well as the odd behavior performed by robots when placed into situations that made following the laws difficult. There were even a few stories, notably 3, where robots disregarded all 3 laws together to a variety of results. Still, the big thing to question here is applying these laws to the replicants within the world of Blade Runner, and whether or not replicants can really count as robots, or creations that fit synonymously within a robot category. Obviously, they break the first law right out the gate. We see them killing people several times throughout the movie to inflict harm unto others. In fact, the whole reason replicants are banned from Earth is because a Nexus 6 model enacted a bloody mutiny on an off-planet colony. So clearly the aggression is there right from the get-go, and that might just be down to how they're built. Replicants aren't traditional androids after all. They're synthetic organisms, not really mechanical, but more like man-made biological machines, if you can call them that. They're designed for a multitude of different uses: machine work, combat capabilities, factory work, but it all comes down to the fact that their bodies aren't really gears or oil, it's just artificial. Artificial Homo sapiens, I suppose, though that might not be the best way to describe them either. They're a process of genetic engineering, but formed by human hands as opposed to human processes, and they're created mostly for the point of labor for us, so perhaps these laws could at one time have applied before this whole small mutiny took place. After all, they're still used in off-world colonies, it's just that Earth they're not allowed on simply to protect the larger human population from these synthetic beings that are ultimately stronger, faster, and morally bankrupt versions of humanity. That's kind of the thing with the Nexus 6 models. They're created with only a 4-year lifespan because there's this fear that if they were to live any longer, then there's the chance that they could develop empathic cognition, basically making them indistinguishable from normal human beings, and honestly, who knows what could happen after that. So the laws of robotics seem tricky to apply here, I think mostly for the fact that the term for a robot seems kind of tricky, though we also have to take into account the very nature of replicants themselves and just how they're created as maybe being an indication of why they couldn't really follow anything resembling Asimov's 3 laws. Or it all just could be down to Ridley Scott not wanting to follow those laws, but it's still interesting to think about what exactly the protocol was when creating these synthetic organisms. What do you have to do to ensure some form of loyalty to humanity, and what eventually led them to snap? But anyways guys, that's going to wrap up this video. Thank you so much for watching, and be sure to stay subscribed to the channel to stay up to date on all of our content as it's released. My name is Luke, and I'll catch you guys next time.